News this morning. This is a live look at Coors and Blake in southwest Albuquerque. You want to avoid this area. It's where Bernalillo County Sheriff's deputies, a lot of them are investigating. Now, we're still trying to figure out exactly what's going on here, Liz.
Our photographer at the scene tells us that he did see a body on the ground, so it appears to be some sort of a death investigation. Deputies, as Matt mentioned, right now are blocking off Coors at Blake. Please avoid it if at all possible. We will keep our crew out there at the scene and bring you more information as soon as it becomes available. Campaign ads are sometimes controversial by design. We know that.
Without a doubt. And one ad from a U.S. Senate candidate here in New Mexico is causing controversy, not just here in New Mexico, but all across the country, but because it includes a shot of the jihadist who executed an American last week.
We showed a picture of a jihadist terrorist, purportedly the same guy that executed this man recently, James Foley. People need to be reminded of what the threat is.
All right, that is Senate candidate Alan Way. The ad is for him. He's a Republican. It went on YouTube yesterday, and it shows images of the presidency in a montage with video of turmoil in the Middle East. An image of Way's opponent, Senator Tom Udall, is shown just before a still frame from the video that shocked the world last week, showing a terrorist believed to have executed American journalist James Foley. The reaction to this on social media was swift and overwhelmingly negative. Senator Tom Udall's campaign quickly sent out a statement about the ad, calling it reprehensible and appalling. The Foley family says it has no reaction to the ad. Well, New Mexico Tech is known for training students to stop cyber attacks and to protect personal information on the internet.
Well, it seems Tech committed a major technological mistake that could embarrass a lot of students. The roughly 2,100 students enrolled at New Mexico Tech in Socorro got an email yesterday they were not expecting. It tells students to click on an attachment to see tutoring schedules, but students who did instead got a list of the entire student body, including their ID numbers, some phone numbers, some home addresses, and how each student is doing in school.
That's obviously a violation of my rights and privacy. And I looked up my name and there was all my information, and I could find anybody else's information.
The university president says a longtime employee in the office of the registrar accidentally attached the wrong file to the email. He says the university had people working to retrieve and delete the emails that hadn't already been opened. They were able to delete about half of them. They're also working on new protocols and training to make sure this does not happen again. And to the south, New Mexico State University students recently learned their personal information was on a laptop that was stolen from a university employee. The Las Cruces Sun News reports 170 students received a letter earlier this month saying the theft was not targeting the computer's data. The university says there wasn't any information on it that could put the school system at risk. Police did arrest a 19-year-old, boy by the name of Oscar Quintana, in connection with the theft.
5:34 now. The man who shot and killed a 7-Eleven clerk in Albuquerque during a robbery a few years ago is not going to see the other side of prison walls for 37 years. It was an emotional day in court, to say the least, yesterday as Eloy Aguilar got sentenced for second-degree murder. He shot and killed Chad Mercer during a botched robbery at the 7-Eleven on University and Central back in 2012. Aguilar's and Mercer's families hugged before the sentencing. Then Mercer's family played a video of his life. And before Aguilar was sentenced, Mercer's family and Aguilar both spoke out.
But there will be a day that finally, day in and day out, that he is in jail. It will force him, with the other people that he comes in contact with, to have remorse that he does not have today.
It was just wrong place at the wrong time. I wasn't in my right mind, and I know that's not an excuse, but I'm sorry.
The getaway driver, Dylan Villarreal here, was also sentenced, getting more than 2 years for conspiracy. Well, the search is now on to find two bank robbers who dressed up like the music group Insane Clown Posse and held up a bank in Albuquerque yesterday. Investigators say they walked into the Wells Fargo Bank here at Paseo in Wyoming in the Heights with guns, jumped over the counter and demanded money. Once they got it, they took off in a white car. If you have any information, please call the FBI or Crime Stoppers. You could get a $1,000 reward.
Bernalillo County Deputy Shannon Key has been laid to rest. Key, a deputy for 17 years, died last week from brain cancer. Hundreds showed up for the funeral procession yesterday that started in Rio Rancho and moved through the county. Key's casket was taken to the sheriff's department for his, quote, final dispatch, and then to Sunset Memorial Park, where he was buried. He is survived by his wife and 3 kids. Well, we now know more about the New Mexico man who died during a test flight with an ultralight plane recently. 67-year-old Brian Boker was looking at an aircraft that was for sale in Michigan. Deputies say he crashed it during a second takeoff. Boker was the owner of an animal clinic in Edgewood. He was also a regular visitor to the Sandia Air Park, where he loved to fly. The manager there says Boker saved her dog's life once.
Everybody around here knew him. He was here almost every morning at 8 o'clock to fly his ultralight.
And then he'd go to work.
And then he'd go to work, yes, as our local vet. He was loved in this community by a lot of people.
Friends say Boker was also a Vietnam veteran and POW.
Well, 2 groups here in New Mexico are now trying to help pets when their owners have trouble with domestic violence. The New Mexico Coalition Against Domestic Violence and Animal Protection of New Mexico are working together to find a temporary home for these pets. The coalition says people who go to jail for domestic violence often abuse their pets or threaten them as well. We'll let you know what the groups come up with.